Welcome to Taxing Poetic, brought to you by Synexus Tax Solutions. I am Tim.
And I'm Jenny.
And we're here joined by
JB.
Awesome. And today we're going to talk about irrelevant college football, but lovely leaves. Another segment in our state series.
Ooh,
we're going to be savage.
Savage.
Yeah, everybody's going to bring in the Patriot reference, right, JV?
Oh, yeah. Real college, football where they can tackle. We're great at.
Yes.
Love it.
But also tell us, it's not necessarily irrelevant, but irrelevant?
Irrelevant.
But tell us what the factoid we learned about New England football.
Oh, Harvard versus Yale.
Yeah, wasn't that the first college football
It was
game?
one of the oldest and original college football games, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Theodore Roosevelt attended one, I guess, as a student of Harvard in 1876.
Very cool.
You weren't allowed to throw the ball forward, but I guess, it was kind of football.
It was sort of football.
A lot of running around and tackling.
Yes,
Yeah.
leather helmets.
What states are we talking about?
We're going to be covering Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, otherwise known as Taxachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont.
Love it.
All right.
Yep.
Well, to kick this episode off, I have a haiku, of course.
Of course.
Are you ready?
Blow our minds.
Okay, let's go. New England sales tax should only have one flat rate. 12 for Tom Brady.
Oh, that's really good.
Don't you like that, JB?
With the reference to Massachusetts. I love it. Good job. Good job.
So 12% across the board, all those states you just mentioned. I'm just saying, not a terrible idea.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So then now we're going into our pop quiz, right?
Yes,
Pop
Donna.
quiz, hot shot.
Donna,
Okay.
again, thank you for supplying us with a quiz. First question is for Jenny in our pop quiz hotshot. Which state has a statewide food and beverage tax?
Statewide food and beverage tax. I'm going to say Connecticut.
Nope. Tim, you know?
Nope.
It's Rhode Island.
Really?
Yes. Read a very good website about Rhode Island, so I'm surprised.
That's true.
You should have dug a little deep into there.
Especially with the cakes.
Yes.
I mean, they apparently love cakes in Rhode Island.
Cake by the ocean.
Cake by the ocean.
Yes, who doesn't love that?
We'll include a link to the website so people are like, what are you talking about? There you go. So yeah, Rhode Island. Is that interesting or
That is
weird?
Interesting. So one flat rate for
Food and beverage across the board. That is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Small state.
yeah.
I mean, I guess so.
I know.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, Tim, which of these states has one of the 5 lowest average combined sales tax rates in the U.S.?
I'm going to go with Massachusetts.
So it's Maine.
I was going to say Maine.
Yeah. Do you want to guess? Jenny, you could steal a point if you get the percentage. What is the combined percentage of the sales tax rate in Maine?
5.5.
Oh, it is 5.5.
Yay!
I got to give her the
me!
point. She didn't score any points.
Come on,
You
man.
guessed Massachusetts when you just called them Taxachusetts and
I
you
was
thought they were
just
the
saying-
lowest rate.
Just because they tax a lot of stuff doesn't mean that they have to have the highest rate.
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
go.
Okay.
Fair point.
Okay.
All right. Jenny, which 2 states have no sales tax exemption for clothing?
Oh, I believe no sales tax exemption for clothing. It has to be, let's see, Massachusetts and Connecticut.
So Connecticut is correct, and the other one is, Tim, you know?
Tim, steal it.
Rhode Island,
Mm-hmm.
Maine.
Really?
So,
Okay.
which is, I think, I probably would have guessed Maine just because of the because we just found out that it's not that complicated there. And maybe that's what they consider complicated, is just having a lot of tax. I don't know.
Interesting.
But interesting nonetheless. All right, Tim, which state has a luxury tax of 7.75% on clothing or footwear when it's less than $1,000?
That's got to be Massachusetts.
Connecticut.
That's so random.
It's real random. I think she probably found a lot of the same information you did about Connecticut with their weird little complexities,
Yeah.
and she found one.
She just
And
latched
she's like,
onto
this is
it.
weird. Yeah.
I think both of our egos are always very hurt when we don't get these right. But I actually love these quiz questions because it just is so much fun to learn these weird things.
If we just got them all right, they'd be
That's
like,
no
they're just
fun.
Googling it.
Speak
Totally.
for yourself, yo. My ego is bruised. I feel like a peach that rolled off the back of a truck and just got run over. Holy smokes. I got to go back to the books.
I know, exactly. But it is kind of fun.
Well, you know, a lot of the
Interesting.
northeastern states have really weird clothing rules, right?
That's
Like, I mean,
true. Like we talked-
talked
yes.
about New Jersey, right? They've got some weird stuff.
Yeah, listen to our other episode, Walk Faster, Please.
There
we have
you go.
some good clothing, fun, weird rules.
Exactly.
Another non-surprising because New Jersey and, obviously Connecticut's so close to New York and New Jersey. And
I'm telling you, it's like I always say, these people party together, went out to a steak dinner and said, hey, you know what? We got to do the same stuff. Like, this completely makes sense, but we're going to push the needle even further, right? Oh, he's doing a shot of vodka. I'm going to do a shot of Jaeger. Congratulations.
right.
Is it like the Illuminati? They just meet secretly and make bizarre tax laws
And control the world.
and control the world.
That's it.
New
Number two.
England. All right.
All right. In which state is a tattoo taxable as a service?
Is a tattoo taxable as a service? Oh boy, let's go with Massachusetts.
Again?
Connecticut.
Really? I'm
Weird.
thinking.
They're weird,
And I'm thinking like Taxachusetts.
I think it's because they got people from New York who are like, I'm going to go to Connecticut and get my tattoo. And it's like,
Get it
not so
tax-free.
fast.
You know what?
no.
Yeah, they go over to like Foxwoods, right? And they get all banged up at the casino, and then there's like, hey, I'm gonna go get a tattoo, and the Connecticut guy's like, hey, we're gonna get him on tax.
Screw you guys.
I like the voice of the tattoo man. I
Come on in and
personally,
get a tattoo.
I don't know why
Increase my sales tax
Sling
return.
Blade is giving people tattoos in Connecticut, but
Sling blade.
That is horrible. Is it kind of odd that the two largest casinos in the United States are located like in Connecticut? Isn't that weird?
yes.
Yeah.
We should talk about that from a tax perspective after our break. Okay, Tim, in Tax Foundation's 2024 Tax Climate Index, designed to show how well states structure their tax systems, which of these states was in the top 10?
How they structure their tax environment?
Now this is the tax climate. Worst or best? You're saying top 10.
This
what?
is the top 10. It would be how well states. So, yes, like their top 10, like,
best climate. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Vermont.
so again, I really think I would have got this. But do you know why?
New Hampshire, because they don't have
Because they don't have
They
sales
don't have
tax.
one.
Oh, that's so misleading.
It was a little bit, yes.
I feel like it should be
obviously.
NA, non-applicable.
Yep.
Irrelevant.
So it's a two-part question, so you can still get some points. How many are in the bottom 10?
of these states are in the bottom 10. Let's see. 1, 2. I'm gonna go with 3.
It's 4.
4?
Can you believe? So
Why?
Connecticut's got to be 1.
Connecticut? Yeah.
Massachusetts is another one.
Yep.
Rhode Island, and let me guess, Vermont.
Well,
It
it's
is?
like the only one left,
It's,
basically.
I mean,
Why is that?
everyone but Maine
That's so.
and New Hampshire,
and New
obviously,
Hampshire because they don't have
because they have the best.
great. I mean, that is shocking.
Wow,
That is shocking.
very interesting.
They're all on the bottom line. They have high rates. They have really complex tax laws.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
we should find that tax climate index and
I
just do a tax
know.
climate index podcast and just like see what
absolutely.
Yeah, Connecticut's a mess.
Yeah.
Connecticut's an absolute mess.
Really?
With that. Yeah. I mean, easy administration, but at the same time, they just got a bunch of little wacky rules and stuff like that. We'll get into that a little bit later.
they say. We sure will.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
It's very interesting.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with our state discussion. And we're back on Taxing Poetic, and I understand that we got another email from Taxy McTaxface.
We did, and it percolated with this particular subject. So let's read it now.
Oh boy, are you ready, Tim? These are never good.
It's a short. It's a short one.
Do I need a Xanax?
Well, yes, but
It's less chaotic. Maybe they felt bad about the last couple. Okay, I bought snow tires in New Hampshire because no sales tax, boom, and brought them to my winter home here in Stowe, Vermont. My accountant is telling me that I owe use tax on these now. What gives?
did he just say no sales tax like boom?
I think so. That's how I
Okay.
read it. No sales
Okay.
tax, boom.
Like he's dropping the mic?
Yes. No sales tax boom.
So he feels like he's gamed the system, and then his accountant is saying, you have not, in fact, gamed the system. The system has gamed you. Is he correct?
100%.
The
Yes.
accountant's correct.
The accountant's correct. Absolutely. Yeah, Taxi, you got gamed. Sorry. You have large delivery trucks. It's a famous historical issue, right? In these border states with states that don't have sales tax, of people ordering large ticket items and bringing them into said state and saying, oh, look, I've avoided paying tax. And you know what? They're ultimately going to get caught. There's stories of revenue personnel like taking down truck names and watching people go to, addresses and things of that nature. And saying, hey, where's the use tax? Why are you not paying this? What's going on? Or, opening up an audit and taking a look at something. Now, granted, they're not going to do that particularly off your $500 chair or your $1,000 TV. But, if you're a large business and, trying to furnish a, office building or doing some other things, thinking that you're getting cute and you're, bypassing the system, not so much.
All right. First of all, restraining order. Hello. Thanks for following me. And I'm calling the police.
Hey, they're not trying to be creeptastic. They're just trying to do their job.
They're a little creepy.
Hey, we got that here in Georgia. You believe it or not? Seriously, you think about our state up to the north. This is a great story. So think about our state up to the northeast, right? South Carolina.
I'm like, which one?
They got a max tax on certain types of purchases of aircraft and of backhoes and other types of equipment. And people think that you can fly an airplane out of South Carolina and buy it there and pay a maximum amount of $300 and bring it into the state. There are Department of Revenue personnel at every airport here in Georgia recording tail numbers and looking how long your plane sits here. And if it sits here for an extended period of time, guess what, dude? They don't see you registered. They don't see your tail number registered in the state. You're getting a bill. You're getting a bill for property tax and you're getting a bill for use tax.
I'm going to go to Vermont and be a private detective and just bust people all day long.
Good idea.
That'd be fun.
There
Nancy
you go.
Drew.
Look at this.
What else
Yeah.
about Vermont? So it's
Yeah.
a use tax, really.
Yeah.
We're going to change your name from Elliot Ness to Aaron Ness.
Elliot is there. Yes, I love it.
Busting Al Capone.
Yes, add it to my list of last
Tax
names.
evasion. I love it.
Yes.
But at the state level. Okay.
All right. So, Taxi, you are incorrect as once again.
Yes.
Thanks for complaining.
Hey, maybe we can go winner with Taxi up in Stowe.
Oh, yes. I'm sure.
Yeah, we should be nice. They have a second home in Stowe.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Holy smokes.
It's nice to have friends with vacation homes.
Go take a sleigh ride.
Yes, exactly. All right. So Vermont, we've covered. You cannot go buy your snow tires in New Hampshire and bring them back
you
to Vermont.
cannot. No,
And
you cannot.
All right. So what else? What else we got about Vermont?
Yeah, why do they have why have a use tax?
For that exact reason, right? It's for purchasing things in another state and bringing it there, and they want their cut. They want their cut of the money. And having that close of a proximity to a state without a sales tax, you're going to find people to bend the rules, and they're going to, whether it's a person, whether it's a company or whatever, you're going to have to have a way to impose that tax, and a lot of that is a consumption tax. It's a tax on the use of the item, on the consumer, and it's hence use
Because
tax.
you're literally using it in Vermont.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you should be subject to the tax there.
Well, it levels the playing field too for local businesses in Vermont. So it's not like if you sell a chair and you're 15 miles from New Hampshire who also sells a chair, it's like there's not really a benefit to going into New Hampshire and buying
Right.
it. You might as well just buy it in Vermont.
There you go.
Poor Vermont chair seller.
Yeah,
I know.
you got to make sure
Want
the
them
chairs.
to go out of business. I know.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
Okay. So we got Vermont. Anything else on Vermont before we move on?
No, let's move on. What other state we're going to pick on today?
Well, we're just gonna, real quick touch on New Hampshire, which we just touched on because why, JB? Not just because it's your home state,
Because I'm from there. That's why we
Right.
talked about it.
I mean,
exactly. But why is there no?
Because there's no sales tax.
Right, it's a
No income tax.
No income tax.
Hey, man.
Yep.
You talk about your highway stories, right? Little pull-offs with what? Booze and fireworks?
Oh, yeah, liquor on both sides of the state, both sides coming in and leaving, making sure you got your booze and your fireworks.
Gosh, I need to go there.
Live
I need
free
to
or
go
die.
through there.
Live free or die, baby.
Love it.
Love it.
Okay, so we don't really need to discuss too much about
Really
New
high
Hampshire.
property tax, right? So when we
Really
talk
high
about, like,
property tax.
generating revenue for the state and getting an excessive amount in property.
And during the brainstorm, Tim had a story about a company that actually, they moved to New Hampshire thinking if I'm from New Hampshire, I can sell things other places and not
They
pay.
actually created, it's not so much that they moved their headquarters there, it's they created like a purchasing division there. So they bought everything into New Hampshire. This is way back in the day, right? When this way predates Wayfair, everything else. And they're like, you know what? We're buying all this stuff into Massachusetts. We're paying a boatload of tax on it. why don't we turn around and put our IT group and AP group and all these other people up in New Hampshire, and let's avoid paying sales tax and all this stuff. And yeah, hey, really good idea on, paper, like really good idea trying to avoid it. But ultimately, you have to apportion that out, right? So if you're buying software licenses and you buy it to a data center in, New Hampshire, but you have a bunch of people sitting in Massachusetts and a bunch of people sitting in, let's say, Arizona and Texas, well, the seat-based licenses where they're actually people are sitting and using them, the states are going to they're going to ask for use tax on those licenses. So certain things you could maybe avoid paying the tax on, like, a piece of hardware and a server and stuff like that. But the big ticket dollar items, especially now that we've moved away from people having their own data centers and things of that nature, you're going to ultimately end up paying use tax on it. So it was a play. States have been sealing up the rules for years.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't work because nobody's in New Hampshire. Sorry, like big corporations, not people. Sorry, but big.
There's almost a million people.
A million people. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yes, but I meant.
I think there's like a million people in Dunwoody, isn't there?
Correct. Yes.
At least the traffic seems that way.
Traffic seems that way. Yes, everywhere in Atlanta. But all that being said, it's not like every corporation is moving to New Hampshire or any of the nomad states because of sales tax laws.
Exactly.
Yes.
And when you look at those nomad states, are not really that populated.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. That's true. That's a good point. All right. We'll have to do another podcast on nomad. All right. So on to Tim's favorite state, like we've mentioned many more times before, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
So
gotta love it.
Yeah.
Good flat rate, 6.25%, right? Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Across the board. They just, I won't say they tax overly aggressively. I just like the name Taxachusetts because, kind of rhymes and it's fun. Like Taxi McTaxface.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And it's where the Patriots are, so you like to make fun of Massachusetts.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
down with Brady, down with Belichick.
Oh.
We don't have to worry about Brady anymore, but that's good. But no, yeah.
I mean, you never know with Brady, honestly. He might come back.
Always going to come. Yeah. There's always the threat.
You say that, so anyway.
Exactly.
His hair is too good to just
great hair.
sit around.
They definitely tax services very interesting in Massachusetts, right? You've got there's certain types of services, like services aren't generally taxable, right? But the certain enumerated services and the way that they define services as being taxable in Massachusetts is kind of interesting. You should talk to us if you're doing work in Massachusetts, like barber services are taxable there, and there's some other thing. Yeah, we get taxed on getting a haircut, right? It's a wonder that you don't see more people walking around with just super long hair up there, unlike Brady's gorgeous locks, as you all were commenting on a minute ago. But yeah, no, it's an interesting state to do business in.
I was going to say, I'm like kind of annoyed. Tim wants us to talk about tax when we want to talk about Brady. So, but whatever, Tim. All right.
The other fun, interesting thing, we talked about this. We had a client that actually had a large vessel that he decided to pull into Massachusetts at one point and do a charter. And it's very interesting that yacht charter services in Massachusetts are actually taxable. They're subject to a 5% tax.
Oof.
So,
I need to remember that the next time I have my yacht out to take people for rides.
When I have to take Moopsie out on my yacht with my caviar.
Oh no, let me call my accountant right now.
and my Dom Perignon.
Perignon.
Escargot.
Exactly. Yeah. You're going to be all subject to a tax if somebody arranges that charter for you.
Tim, I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm sure all of our listeners are like, oh no. Oh, our yacht services.
You go on your sloop.
Anyway, yes, very relevant. Not irrelevant. I can say it now. So, okay. So Massachusetts, how about we move on to Maine?
Lobster rolls.
Lobster, yes.
Good stuff.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the one really cool thing, cool, not cool, weird, is that you have to pay Maine on the 15th.
Why can't you just be the 20th like everybody else?
Yeah, just conform. Conformity is good sometimes.
It's okay
your tone didn't seem like it was cool.
It is not cool. Yes. It's a cool, weird thing, but not cool.
They were really heavy on the audit train after Wayfair, too. It was really kind of interesting. This, state that's all the way up in the Northeast, and they turn around and just, every time you would register for tax, they're like, hey, yeah, why don't you send us 3 years of your last, transactions, and let's go ahead and audit you and get this out of the way. And it's like, wow, this is Maine? Like, you guys aren't New York? You sure you're not moonlighting and camouflage? Like, nope, got lobster rolls in one hand and a tax register in the other.
I've also learned that they are really aggressive on alcohol taxation reporting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they've just been, they've got crazy due dates. Like obviously the 15th we just talked about with sales tax. All their alcohol reporting is due on the 10th. And if you miss it by like 1 minute, they're not happy.
They'll personally call you.
I know.
Jenny knows.
Yes. They showed up at my door the other day, tapping on my window.
It's the other side of having, only, a little bit more than 1 million people is you can be a lot more aggressive.
I guess so.
With your
I know. But again, restraining order. So yeah.
You got a lot of restraining orders out against people.
Well,
they're all government.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all
Agencies.
government employees.
Which I don't think is going to fly. But
Quit following me.
It's just my job, people.
Just kidding, government people. I love you. Don't audit me. Okay. Anything else about Maine?
Nah, let's move on. Let's move south.
Okay. Moving south. Well, I don't know the okay, it has to be south, right?
South.
'Cause
Yeah,
Maine-
yeah, it's way
So right.
Are you going to go north, Nova Scotia?
yeah.
Eh?
Okay, so Rhode Island.
Very interesting factoid.
What?
What is the full official name of Rhode Island? We talked about this the other day.
It's not Commonwealth. It's like plantation something.
Rhode Island and the Providence Plantations.
I never knew that.
Yeah. They tried to cancel the Providence Plantations portion of it, but you know what? People will love that so much about their little state. So
I know.
Pretty cool.
It is a cute little state.
hey, you know what? It is.
How many people? It's not. Is it 1 million people?
Let's
Can you
find
find
out.
that out,
I'm going to
JB?
say under 1 million. Tim, over under 1 million.
Over.
You say?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the under.
I'm going to go over.
And Rhode Island population 1.096 million.
Oh, dang.
Thing is, that's
Winner,
that's
lobster
more.
dinner.
I'm used to losing all the quiz
Congrats.
questions. It's fine. Okay, so
Providence is a really cool town.
okay. Well, what about their tax? Should we talk about their tax?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the quirkier websites that I think we've ever had to navigate,
guess.
right? And so from an administration standpoint, you're definitely going to have to throw the help flag. Get the annual reconciliation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You used to just make a deposit every month and do a reconciliation at the end of the year. Now they want you to file a return every month and then also do a reconciliation.
Just in case you miss something.
Yeah. Kind of like
You know?
Michigan, kind of like Hawaii, maybe.
Yeah, just pop in the last second and be like, oh, yeah, hey, I forgot these $6 million in sales that I had to
Right.
throw on there.
It's
Let me
like,
go ahead.
dude, I already gave you the info.
Yeah.
Now I have to tell it to you again. So it's like my children. So, yeah.
I wonder if that's they use that for legalese. It's like we asked them twice. And they still said no.
They still said no.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what the reasoning is for that. But yes, so they've made some changes, kind of weird, not more simplified in my opinion. But so, yeah, that's
Okay.
my take on Rhode Island.
Awesome.
All right. So I think our last one is Connecticut.
Which we got destroyed on during the quiz.
A lot of Connecticut questions.
Yeah.
A lot of Connecticut. I really didn't have any idea. I felt like Connecticut was a pretty, at least administrative wise, a pretty easy state
Yep.
to deal with.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, cool. Connecticut's cool. Like, I don't have any problem with Connecticut, but apparently Connecticut has a problem with everyone else.
They have a problem with tattoos. So
Yes.
we've already figured that out. They definitely have some very interesting things with data processing services. Like, you'd normally be subject to the full rate of tax, but then you have to do this 1%. Like you basically get a complete exemption except for 1% of the tax base that would be subject to the tax, which is, quite interesting. Mm-hmm. They tax a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, obviously. I just learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier. Very weird.
Just trying to be like New York.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of, their contractors tax in Connecticut's a mess. So when we get into our deep dive series on contractors, definitely listen for that. There's some wacky stuff with remodels versus capital improvement projects in Connecticut. You got to watch out for it.
Got it. Okay.
Yup.
All right. Well, I think that finishes our regional series for irrelevant college football.
But lovely leaves.
But lovely leaves.
Lovely leaves.
But you got-
absolutely gorgeous this time of year.
But you had Tom Brady for a long time, so
Yeah,
that's up for everything.
Well, it's even.
Yes.
Just a couple of
That
apologies.
makes it even worse.
New Hampshire, because you said no one was there.
I know. I didn't.
And they have, and when we
did
looked
mean
up the population, there's more people in New Hampshire than Rhode Island.
You have two people that you work with that are really close to New Hampshire. Ray Tucker
And JB.
And JB.
And JB, that's right.
Shout out to Ray on the old business license team.
Yes, hi Ray.
There you go.
Thanks for being from New Hampshire.
Live Free or Die. Taxi McTaxface. Really just purely so that we can still get an invite to the second home.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Taxi.
Not really.
I expect a hot toddy, a blanket, and a sleigh ride.
And some use tax paid on our cider, donuts,
Snow tires.
guns, and fireworks.
No tires.
And then government employees in general.
Oh,
a lot of
I
restraining
know.
order
Well,
talk.
I
So the
stand.
government employees just doing their job.
I stand by that. I don't apologize. Sorry.
Note to all out there, I did not badmouth the government.
No, Jenny did. And she said, please don't audit me. I don't know. Really asking for it. All right, take us home.
Thanks, JB. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening to our regional series, Irrelevant College Football But Lovely Leaves. And we ask you, please, go on to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or watch us on YouTube. We would love for you to follow us. We'd love for you to subscribe. We would really love it if you would rate us or leave a review. And if you leave a good review, we'll even read it on the next podcast. I mean, maybe we'll read the bad ones if they're about Tim. But please do, and we would really appreciate it. And we look forward to having you next time.
Tom Brady wears dirty Uggs.
Cut.